Welcome back to Crooked River Homestead, everyone. We are back in the garden today. Today's July 11, about 8 days after our last update. And I'm going to show you what's growing well, some issues that we've had, and what I've done to try to help those issues. This is our squash patch. We do have 5 plants growing here, and don't really know what variety they're going to be. I'm guessing we're going to have yellow and green squash there, and this larger one might be a butternut or a delicata squash plant. We're going to wait and see. So I did put a much bigger tent, I guess, around them to prevent the vine borer moth from getting in. They're not flowering yet, and that's usually when the moth shows up. So we're keeping a close eye on those. Our zinnias are still doing very well. The middle row is just about ready to bloom. I had not cut those back, but the other 2 rows I did cut back, and so they are growing doubling up on their stems. So you can see on this one, this is where right here I had cut it, and so it developed a stem here and a stem there. And so instead of one stem, we're going to have a double stem on each one. So it's kind of an experiment, and this one's getting very close to opening up. So this is our cutting flower garden. We do have some snapdragons that are starting to come up. They were very slow in coming up. And these are the straw flowers. And the cosmos are also doing well. I did cut back just a couple plants to see if those would double up, and I think they will. But I'm anxious to see the flowers on these. Our dill is getting taller, and our newer plantings of the zinnia is also coming up. So zinnia will definitely be one that I replant next year. It has been very easy to grow. The cosmos also has been easy to grow. I've never grown it from seed before, and it's doing very well. Our pumpkin plants are getting bigger, and these are not flowering yet, and I have not done anything to protect these, so they may be like a decoy plant, if you will, for my squash plants. I don't know. We're going to have to see if we get any squash bugs or the vine borer moth. And if you saw the short that I posted, we did start seeing a second row of the dill. So that's why the rocks are a little in a curved pattern here. And this one actually grew from under a few inches under the cardboard to get to this point. So very tough. Oh, and we have a new one sprouting here. That's wonderful. The pepper plants here are looking much better now that I did feed them some blood meal like a week and a half ago. And last night I also fed them some fish fertilizer. So they're looking greener now, a darker green, which is encouraging to see. And we are getting a little baby pepper there. They're definitely not as big as the ones in the greenhouse. We'll show you those a little bit later. We have had some hot weather the past couple weeks. The tomatoes are just out of control. I have done trimming at the base of the plants a couple times, and I think I need to do some more. We do have plenty of cherry tomatoes developing on the plants, and I think these are going to be a great hit on the farm stand, selling some pints of cherry tomatoes for people passing by to munch on. Our carrot patch is, the ones that are growing seem to be doing well. And I have learned some tips on growing carrots from you guys, and also from the Gathering Basket Homestead. They also have, oh my God, they have huge gardens. They're two elderly homesteaders. I'll leave a link down below in case you want to check their channel out. The cucumbers are doing very well. I am watching them closely for any signs of pests. And I was noticing a little bit of issues on their leaves. And everything got fed some fish fertilizer yesterday. And these are definitely crowded, I feel. If you were following, this was a second planting. Some of these I had like 5 original plants, and the second planting, I planted like 2 or 3 seeds in each hole, and of course, all those 2 or 3 seeds germinated. And so I may do a different type of trellising for these next summer, like a TP type thing, to keep it a little more organized, because I can see how we're going to be missing, some cucumbers when it's time to harvest, and they may become like little watermelons before we discover them. But like I said, I'm keeping an eye for pests, mainly cucumber beetles, because there are 2 channels here in Maine. The other one is Hippie Chick Off Grid. They're both noticing cucumber beetles in the garden. But I do have some natural pest control if that does happen, and hopefully that will work. One concern that I had was with my pole beans, and it's probably from the heat, but I didn't know if it was a nutritional problem. The leaves were getting a little yellow on the edges. So they also got the fish fertilizer, and otherwise they're doing well. Some of them had needed a little encouragement to find the trellis. And oh, what are you? You look like a squash bug. All right. So that's the first sign I've seen. I haven't seen any other bugs, but I don't want you in here. The Swiss chard is growing nicely. I feel like we're probably going to be able to cut some of these in the next week for a meal anyway. They're all doing well. Everything is pretty dry. We had some rain. There is some moisture there. We had some rain a couple nights ago, and I had watered previous to that, which did help, but now I'm going to need to water again tonight. I am working with this telescope waterer. I ordered another one because there's no way this one's going to cover the whole garden. It was supposed to cover 50 square feet, but it's only covering like maybe 25 square feet. So we're going to set them up in succession because I am going to visit my mom up north in the near future, and I want to make it as easy as possible for Tim to water the garden. This is our 3rd planting of beans, and I think this is where I was trying to grow spinach, and you can see only about 50% came up, but they're doing okay. The peas are doing great. Oh, look at this. I did plant a couple different varieties, and I'm terrible about marking everything. I was just like throwing seeds in the garden. So these have those pretty pink and purple flowers. And these have white flowers, which is what I'm used to seeing. Oh, and we have a little baby pea pod forming there. I love just eating these out of the garden, putting them in a salad. And I am surprised they are doing so well in the heat that we've had. So the sunflowers are doing very well. I don't know what it is about sunflowers, but ants love to climb. They don't seem to be doing any damage. But this one is like 5 feet tall. They are growing very well. So hopefully we'll have plenty of them for the cut flower garden. And I'm wondering if I should have done some trimming with these as well to get more flowers. I don't know if these, again, there's different varieties here. There's the colored variety that I think you get multiple blooms. And then some may just be like one big mammoth sunflower. This is the second planting of radishes. And I think we might have some to harvest here. And I have cut a couple times on the rhubarb. So right now it's just smaller stalks, but it's very healthy. The chamomile is doing very well, starting to flower, which is, I love those little dainty flowers. So glad that this is getting established. And we still have some random calendula plants. We have a few more down here near the entrance to the garden. And we do have some random ones along the fence here. I had planted some all the way down. We have more down here, which they're doing very well actually. And then there's a couple on the other side of the fence. Oh, here's another one. So I'm really hoping to get some calendula to save some flowers, and especially for the balms that I make. I like to infuse the flowers in oil, and I also want to save some seeds for next year. I have a whole jar full, like a quart-sized jar from our previous gardens on our previous property, and those did not really germinate that well this year. And I don't know if it was the conditions or maybe the seeds are getting old. They're a couple years old at this point. We're going to head over to the greenhouse, give you a quick tour there. The tomatoes and the peppers are doing extremely well there. My concerns for the high temperatures have pretty much been squashed. Maybe we're just having a fluke year, I don't know. But last week we were in the 90s, which means that the greenhouse was 100 or more in there, even with the fans, the solar fans running. But they're doing great. You're going to hear Tim in the background. He is sawing some metal. So I am still sharing the greenhouse with the little ones here who are not so little anymore. They're getting much bigger. And in the afternoon, they like to spend time. They like to spend time behind the door where there's some shade and there's a nice breeze today. They're pretty good about managing their temperature. They prefer to be outside during the day. It's a little warm in here for them, but they have access to come in here if they want to. And then they'll do the reverse, because in the afternoon, their run is in full sun. So they'll hang out in here where it's a little bit cooler by the time the fans are catching up with the heat. It actually doesn't feel too bad in here today, but you can see my thermometer is saying it's like 105. I did manage to fill all the trays with some more dirt, and I also added some manure, blended that in there. I had to move this one away from the fence because the chickens were pecking at it. And then we got these filled as well. These tomato plants are doing quite well. They're about 3 feet tall, and they are starting to flower. And so they need water today. I've had to water them about every couple days, seems to be the routine, and they're doing fine with that. And here are the pepper plants. So this is an jalapeno pepper plant, and we're starting to get a little flower there. These are, I believe this is another jalapeno, and these are, oh, look at this. Wow. Seems like these appeared overnight. So these are the regular pepper plants. This one is much bigger, but a lot of flowers forming on this one. And oh, this one has a little pepper right there. So looks like we're going to have peppers. And then we have a couple more of the tomatoes over here. And this one, I almost want to say this is a cherry tomato one. I'm quite happy to be sharing this space with the little ones. They look like they're bigger hens, but they still sound little. They still sound like they're just chirping still, like little chicks. They're not clucking. So we'll probably keep them in here till the end of August, which is when we're expecting the other pullets, the leghorn pullets, and I think we'll have the new pullets come in here, and we'll integrate these 4 in with the big girls. They should be big enough to go live with the other ones. Thanks for joining me today. Please like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love it if you join us on our journey as we build our off-grid homestead here in Maine. We'll see you next time. Bye.
I'll keep praying to heaven and fighting like hell.